This week's Torah portion features Balak the king asking Bilam to get God's permission to curse the Jewish people. Balak asked Bilam, "What did Hashem say?" And Bilam said, "Up, Balak and Tan, listen to me, the son of Tzipor. God is not human to be capricious or mortal to have a change of heart. Would God speak and not act, promise and not fulfill? My message from God was to bless. When God blesses, I cannot reverse it. No harm is in sight for Yaakov, no woe in view of Israel. Their God Hashem is with them, and their king's acclaim in their midst. There's no wizardry in Yaakov, and no divining in Israel." In his commentary to these verses, Rashi wrote, "The Jewish people are worthy of blessing, since there are no enchanters or diviners among them." Rashi's comment is odd. Earlier in the Torah, we learned how the Jewish people earned blessing. The Pasuk said, "If you follow my laws and faithfully observe my commandments, I will grant your rains in their season. So the earth shall yield its produce, and the trees of the field their fruit. Your threshing shall overtake the vintage, and your vintage shall overtake the sowing. You shall eat your fill of bread and dwell securely in your land. I will grant peace in the land, and you shall lie down untroubled by anyone. I will give the land respite from vicious beasts, and no sword shall cross your land. Your army shall give chase to your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword." If we earn blessing by following God's commands, how could the Jewish people be counted by Rashi as being worthy of blessing, since there are no enchanters or diviners among them? In his work, the Mishnah Torah, Rambam listed various superstitious practices and explained how they were all prohibited. He ended off his list by writing, and listen to these words, "All the above matters, all those are falsehood and lies, which the original idolaters deceived the Gentile nations in order to lead them after them. It's not fitting for the Jews who are wise sages to be drawn into such emptiness, nor to consider that they have any value. Whoever believes in superstitious practices in his heart, thinks that they are true and words of wisdom, but are forbidden by the Torah, is foolish and feeble-minded. The masters of wisdom and those of perfect knowledge know with clear proof that all these crafts, all superstition, which the Torah forbade, are not reflections of wisdom, but rather emptiness and vanity, which attracted the feeble-minded and caused them to abandon all paths of truth. For these reasons, when the Torah warned against all these empty matters, it advised, be of perfect faith with your God, your Lord, be tamim." Even though God had said that the way to earn divine blessing is by fulfilling the mitzvot, Rashi explained the Jewish people were worthy of blessing because they didn't practice any superstition. Rashi wasn't contradicting the verses in the Torah, rather he was expanding the category of fulfilling the mitzvot. One understanding of mitzvot imagines that the mitzvot are a list of commands and prohibitions, actions we must do, and forbidden things that we can't do. Mitzvot are much more than just a list of to-dos and not-to-dos. Fulfilling God's Torah is first and foremost about maintaining proper philosophical positions about God and how the world operates. By not believing in superstition, a Jew fulfills God's commands, for the Jew understands how God truly relates to the world. What a very important message. Shabbat Shalom.